them slowly taking the gold base, if you see what I mean. In my opinion, at least.
Oh, well, it depends on the player's reactions. I mean, we have seen Noname play versus Tefel, where the gold base of the Zerg player, which usually gets punished if the Zerg attempts that versus a Terran. Noname just let it go, and he lost as a result of that. So, I don't know, anything can happen, but your points are very valid. It's good that you have brought them up. GraVe being 1 game up versus Noname, playing for ESC, spawning on the left side of this map. His opponent is going to be Noname playing as the green Terran player for Russian Universe of Warhammer. And goes ahead and pauses the game.
1 minute, so no problem.
Yep.
You know, just a little bit of a slow start here. And GraVe one map away from actually moving into the round of 8 of a tournament that he didn't really make it into. Like, you know, very fortunate to actually be in this position and to you know, to get the invite because Levy dropped out. You know, it's not like GraVe didn't do anything to get here. He was, I think, 2 or 3 places down from qualifying in the points, and you know, didn't show up. He was the highest ranked player online to take his spot, and then Arthur didn't show up. So, you know, he's really been blessed by kind of a couple of angels, I suppose.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, Noname might even be feeling a little bit... He might be feeling resentful because, you know, there are... If a player doesn't show up, you know, you could just, like, disqualify him and not fill the spot. You know, that's also a thing some other leagues do, which we don't.
Well, when Arthur didn't show up, it was a little bit different because we kind of had the feeling that Levy wasn't going to be here because he didn't. You know, he said he'd get back to us. He just didn't get back to us at all. Whereas Arthur, he said he would be here. So you know, why force forfeits when you can bring in someone who is, you know, within their own right, fair enough that they're here, because it's not like we picked someone out of nowhere. At least it's not like I was just like,
that's true.
You play. Now.
Yeah, that would have been sucky. So
Noname's back and ready to go. If you're wondering how Noname got here in the qualifiers, he had a pretty impressive couple of runs, made it to the finals once, semi-finals the second time. He lost in the semi-finals to Mikas maybe, or he took out Mikas one time to go to the finals, I think.
He took him out.
Yeah, he took him out one time, but then another time he made it to like the round of 8 before getting knocked out or something. So actually, in fact, let me. I'm gonna check to see how he did it. So he played in 2 qualifiers, and he got to finals once, and he got to round of 8 once as well. Round of 8 in qualifier 6, where he lost to. Dun 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 dun. He lost to Select 2-1.
Oh yeah, but you know, losing to Select that's not a shame.
No, Select
so
went on to lose to Solar.
Noname, it looks like he really likes these Command Center first openings.
Yeah.
We have actually seen Select do this versus Pink. Didn't quite work out for him on this same map, I think.
I do remember that was just last week, in fact, in the round of 16 still. But yeah, you were right. It didn't quite work out, but I didn't feel it was really because of the CC first.
No,
I think,
no, it was like
it was a much longer
tried, Select tried to go for a Viking SCV pull, but he just didn't have the Vikings.
Yeah, that was it. He just pulled everything, but he didn't have any Vikings, and so, I can't remember if that was game 1 or 2, but it wasn't the best of TVPs.
I think it was actually game number 2.
Game 1 was on Frost, yeah.
Yep. But
both games
back to this
similar.
game, the same opening for Noname, double racks to follow this up, and you know, this. You know what I think is really good versus this opening that the Terran player did? Just pure old-fashioned immortal busts.
Yeah, I mean, immortal busts are always strong. We haven't seen an immortal bust in forever.
In ages, yeah. And they're so strong still.
I wonder if like the thing is, like, I wonder if they're so kind of, it's so weird to actually go for Robo so early nowadays. Like, if a Terran player saw a Robo, they just assume something's up. Because it's actually very rarely that you see Colossus openings nowadays.
Yeah, it's going to change
it's
a little bit with
the
mine boost, but
we can already see it in Pro League. We saw a lot of Colossus, not a lot, but we saw a couple of Colossus openings last week
yep.
in TVPs. And wow,
there's the Robo.
Wow, have you seen this game before?
No, I have not seen this game before. I'm just.
Are you from the future?
But this could be just for detection. I mean, there's a huge area where medevacs can sneak past at the top of the ramp. You can also hide medevacs here behind the main base. You can hide them here to try to drop the third base later on. So this could be just for observers, and we could see. Yeah, that's definitely just for observers, as we see the Twilight console being built behind this. I wonder if I'll see a forge as well, or two gateways and then a forge, or no forge at all. That's going to be a big tell as to what
He's
the
already
intentions.
got Pylon. He's got Pylon and Twilight Council. Is this just going to be a
These could be DTs.
Yeah, it could be.
It could also be.
It's definitely DTs.
It could also be a DT drop.
That's
hence why the Robo.
Yeah.
There's the Dark Shrine.
It's definitely going to be that.
And he can go for a War Prism as well. He'll have that 200 minerals.
Yeah. No rush to get it because, of course, the DT Shrine's not finished for a little while.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
We'll see. I'm intrigued to put everything in the main, though, because Noname has been scanning quite a lot today. And wow, the War Prism got cancelled there. As he makes another gateway, and now
no, he's remaking that. He thought he was not going to be needing it, but he noticed the SCVs cutting the pylon.
I think he just wanted to get a gateway down first because he realized that he needs more than one gateway to actually warp in the DT.
Actually, this is a really old build. This is built from MVP Tales from the early days of Hearts, and you do this with 2 gates.
This isn't going to work so well, though, and I mean, it's kind of fallen out of popularity for a reason, and that reason is because of oracles. And because of oracles, we see so many more turrets in the main base nowadays, and you can see already a turret is here for Noname. His build kind of dictated around getting an early turret, so he's actually in a good position.
And moreover, by scouting that pylon, I think when you see a pylon out here in the middle of nowhere this early on in the game, it has to be DTs. It can't be pretty much anything else. Why would you build a pylon at this location? I mean, and there's the DT being warped in. Noname is going out to take out that pylon. I don't know if he was looking, if he saw the shimmer.
Yeah, I don't know. He takes down this pylon going down. It's not really that much of a difference, I suppose.
Second DT going to be dropped into the main base.
Noname knows something, so.
Yeah, he knows, and there is a turret. This DT will get only a couple of SCVs before it is killed, but if you can get 4 SCVs, yeah, that's a good trade, I say.
Yeah, it's alright. The main issue is how much GraVe's splash damage is delayed here, and honestly, it's not that much delayed because the Robo Bay is about to finish. But his upgrade's definitely a bit delayed. His Forge is only just about to finish now, and only just now are we seeing these extra gateways as well. So his splash damage isn't that delayed because the rest of his build is.
Yeah. And he'll have to play defensively, at least for a little while. He's making Immortals because he knows his opponent will have Marauders by this time already. And actually a 2-base timing from Noname, I think it would work. If he decides to go for that. He is adding on additional barracks instead of adding on a 3rd command center. If he doesn't add the 3rd command center right now, he's definitely going for a 2-base timing here. He actually is still making SCVs. Let's see if he stops around 50 or continues making them. It's going to be a little bit of a tell as to what his intentions are. But yeah, GraVe is definitely going to be playing this safe, defensively, getting Blink, +1 armor, Colossi. He's got, on the other hand, he's got a lot of gateways, Wardy. He's on 7 gates.
Can't help but feel every time this happens, Blink, Colossi, and a lot of gates on 2 bases, that they'll just go and push across the map and try and end the game. But that being said, I mean, it'd be a very late 2-base push, and it might just be he wants a bit of splash damage before he ventures out of his natural.
That's true, and this is unfortunate. Those medevacs going over to the watchtower and Noname not realizing that the watchtower is active despite him not seeing any units there. And the DT is still doing a good job of scouting for GraVe, so the Stalkers are in a perfect position to intercept that.
Warp Prism stays alive, but I mean, the Warp Prism's so nice because it's just forcing units to be in the main and not on his side of the map, so it gives him so much freedom to not have to warp in too many units and just continue teching and adding gateways and so on. And I mean, he's starting to add on zealots now, but it's already bought him the time to just be greedy to the point that he's needed to be. Will now lose the war prism to a Viking.
Yeah, this is the first Viking out on the map. To be fair, and we have a Ghost Academy being built as well, and we're on 57 SCVs. I don't see a third command center anywhere, Wordy. I don't know.
I don't think he's
the
the
second starport as well.
Yeah, I don't think he's the kind of guy to build a third command center in TVP. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen him build a third command center in TVP. Or at least when he hasn't used it.
You know what? I think he'll go for the SCV pool with a couple of EMPs and loads of Vikings. Screw the medevacs, because he's going to be taking damage anyways.
It's so strong, especially with the fact that ghosts come out so quickly now, and with 4 Vikings being produced at a time, I mean, these Colossi, they're barely going to be an issue, and I mean, a couple of EMPs to lay on top, and all of a sudden everything will melt from GraVe. I don't like his position in this game, Belnor. I mean, he's about to have +2 armor against 1/1, so upgrades are kind of even. But I just still don't like it. He's got Blink to help pick off Vikings, but I just can't help but feel that his army is just going to melt still.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you defending this SCV pool pretty much relies on you cutting the army in half just perfectly, and then you need Storm. Because even despite cutting the army in half, if the Terran player has a lot of Vikings, let's say 10, 12, 14 Vikings, you're not going to ever kill them fast enough before they bring down the Colossi. And the Vikings are not going to be retreating, they're not going to be microing, they're not going to be caring if they're being fired upon or not. Their only mission is to kill the Colossus as fast as possible, so if you don't have Storm by the time this hits, it's very, very difficult, and you have to rely basically on your ground army. And look at this, even more cannons coming down at the natural. The third has been cancelled.
Yeah, just going to defend his ramp, which is the smart decision here. And Backsoff has thrown overcharge as well to try and pick up these ghosts. But the EMPs do come down, and a lot of the Zealots are very much in the back. And I mean, the Colossi die so quickly. The Mothership Core going down here as well. And there's only Bio left to contend against Gamer units. And this is just devastating push here.
Yeah, he can even land the Vikings if he wants to at this point right now. Doesn't need to keep them alive.
Colossi comes out, so it's actually good that they're still in the air. To take that down nice and quickly here. GraVe is warping in DTs, but there's a lot of scans. You know, Noname did a good job of saving them up to make sure, and now he lands the Vikings, but he's running out of bio units.
Yeah. And the probes have been pulled as well. This might be the closest hold that we'll ever see in this circumstance. Is he really going to? I mean, wow, what?